Hello, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Josiah Abdullahi. Let's begin with the headlines. Federal High Court grants bail to former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami and 2 others. Nigerian Law School gets first female Director General. And Burkina Faso military foils coup and assassination attempt on leader Ibrahim Traore. U.S. President Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that Venezuela's interim government will deliver up to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States and that the proceeds will be controlled by him. Just as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces clash over Parliament's role in potential British troop deployment in Ukraine. Let's get details now from Uche Ugochukwu.
President Donald Trump has unveiled a plan under which Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to be sold by the U.S. days after the abduction of the country's president, Nicolas Maduro. Trump said proceeds from the sale of the oil will benefit the people of Venezuela and the U.S. The condemnation of the abduction of Maduro continues to grow as the United Nations Security Council, including U.S. allies, condemn Washington's actions. Meanwhile, Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, said no foreign agent is running Venezuela, despite Trump's repeated claims that he is in charge of the country. Rodriguez, who was sworn in on Monday, governs under pressure from President Donald Trump, who said he had control of Venezuela after bombing the capital and 3 other states. Rodriguez had sent a letter to Trump in which she advocates a balanced and respectful relationship.
Ruth Cabri.
Elsewhere, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer came under fire at Prime Minister's questions after confirming that the UK has agreed a declaration of intent with France and Ukraine to deploy forces in the event of a peaceful deal, insisting any deployment would be subject to a common vote. Opposition leader Kemi Badenoch accused Starmer of showing a fundamental lack of respect for Parliament by failing to make an immediate statement to the House, arguing that members of the Parliament should have had the chance to question the government in full on such a significant commitment. At a meeting of Ukraine's European allies on Tuesday, the UK and France signed a declaration of intent that will see both countries deploying troops to Ukrainian territory alongside other European forces after a ceasefire with Russia. Meanwhile, Londoners expressed mixed views following the announcement.
I think it's the right thing to do, it's a moral thing to do. We should be standing up for our allies in the same way that I'd hope that they would do the same for us if we were ever in the same boat.
I can never see peace. So there'll always be incursions, people are, fighting backwards and forwards. And what's the point of a few people trying to stand in the middle? They won't be able to stop them.
Others warned Britain not to act as the policeman for the world or commit forces to enforce a fragile peace. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Burkina Faso's military junta announced that it had foiled what was described as a sophisticated plot to assassinate its military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. Let's get details again from Uche Ugochukwu.
Du pays. Cela allait se faire.
Burkina Faso's Security Minister Mohamed Sana gave details of the coup in a national television broadcast, stating that intelligence services intercepted the operation in its final stages. He alleged that the plotters had planned to assassinate the head of state and then strike other key institutions, including civilian personalities, adding that the conspiracy was funded from neighboring country. Sana said authorities uncovered a leaked video in which the plotters discussed their intentions, including assassinating Traore, either at close range or by planting explosives at his residence shortly after 11 p.m. local time on Saturday, January 3. The conspirators allegedly planned to follow up by targeting other senior military and civilian figures, mobilizing soldiers and civilian supporters, and disabling the country's drone launch base to prevent foreign intervention. Sana added that the situation was under control and urging citizens not to be misled out of naivety into dangerous schemes. In another news, Chinese vessels entered South African territorial waters for drills with other BRIC nations, including South Africa, Russia, Iran, and others. The vessels were seen sailing in False Bay near the South African Naval Base in Simeonstown. The exercise is set to run from January 9 to January 16. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu extends heartfelt gratitude to Renewed Hope Initiative team across the country, led by wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shatima. First Ladies of states and RHI state coordinators, wives of federal legislators, ministers, service chiefs, and other women leaders across the nation for their support to the initiative since the inception of this administration. In a personal message to begin the new year, the First Lady applauds their compassion, dedication, and readiness to act, noting that this has strengthened the collective efforts aimed at delivering the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and empowering all Nigerians, especially the most vulnerable, regardless of status or background. Wishing them a peaceful, productive, impactful, and a prosperous 2026. The First Lady again appreciates all their efforts and partnership while looking forward to continued support in 2026 and beyond. The Office of the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has vehemently disclaimed a write-up and all its contents written by an aide, Saidu Enagi, titled Malagi 2027, in which permutations for the 2027 Niger State gubernatorial elections were discussed. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Minister on Media, Rabiu Ibrahim, said the minister is fully focused on his responsibility, superintending the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, and has no room for political distractions. The statement urged the general public to disregard the write-up as the minister neither directed nor approved the publication and directed immediate investigation and suspension of the aid with immediate effect. The statement adds that the minister and his home state governor, Mohammed Umaru Bago, enjoy a positive mutual relationship for the greater good of Niger State, and therefore speculations about the 2027 elections will appear inimical to these noble objectives. Now, a look at the judiciary. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted bail to the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, and two others bail in the sum of 500 million naira each, with two sureties each in like sum. Malami, SAN, is standing trial alongside two others on a 16-count charge filed by EFCC for alleged money laundering and illicit possession of assets valued at more than 8 billion naira. At the resumed trial, the prosecution opposed the bail application on the grounds that Malami, SAN, may use his connection to interfere with investigation or leave the country in order to evade trial. However, the defense argued that the prosecution assertions are mere speculations. After hearing both parties, Justice Emeka Nwete granted bail to the three defendants on the grounds that the two sureties must have landed properties either in Metama, Asokoro, or Gwarimpa. In addition, the defendants must deposit their traveling documents with the court and must not travel out of the country without the permission of the court. In the light of this, Malami and two others will be remanded in Kuje Correctional Facility pending the perfection of their bail conditions and equally adjourn the case to February 17th for commencement of trial. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Dr. Olugbemisola Titilayo Odushote as the Director General of the Nigerian Law School. The appointment takes effect on January 10, 2026 for a 4-year term. Dr. Odushote 57, is currently the Deputy Director General and head of the Lagos campus and will become the first woman to lead the institution since its establishment in 1962. She will succeed the current Director General, Professor Isa Hayatu Chiroma, whose tenure expires on January 9, 2026, after 8 years of service. She joined the law school in 2001 as a lecturer. Since then, she has served in various capacities, including as head of academic department, director of academics, and head of campus. In the meantime, the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has congratulated Dr. Olubemisola Titilayo Odushote on her historic appointment as the first female Director General of the Nigerian Law School since its establishment in 1962. The minister described the appointment as a landmark achievement for the legal profession and a significant milestone for women's leadership in Nigeria. The minister also expressed profound appreciation to President Tinubu for what she described as a bold, visionary and inspiring decision that reinforces women's inclusion in national development. She noted that the appointment reflects the president's clear commitment to merit, equity and the deliberate opening of strategic national institutions to capable Nigerian women in line with the renewed hope agenda. Let's also inform you that the federal government has firmly debunked misleading narratives circulating in some quarters regarding Nigerian scholarship students in the Kingdom of Morocco, describing such claims as false, unfounded and deliberately crafted to misinform the public. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, clarified that no Nigerian student on a valid federal government scholarship has been abandoned. All beneficiaries duly enrolled under the bilateral education scholarship program prior to 2024 have received payments up to the 2024 budget year, in line with the federal government's obligations. Any temporary delays and outstanding payments are attributable to fiscal constraints and are currently being addressed through ongoing engagements between the Federal Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Finance. The Honourable Minister added that no new bilateral scholarship awards were made in October 2025 or at any time thereafter. Documents being circulated to suggest otherwise are fake, unauthenticated and constitute a calculated attempt to mislead the public and discredit government policy. Dr. Alausa explained that the decision to discontinue government-funded bilateral scholarships abroad followed a comprehensive policy review, which established that Nigeria now possesses sufficient capacity within its universities, polytechnics and colleges of education to deliver the affected programs locally. So let's flip to other issues. 2025, the Federal Road Safety Corps was an engaging year for them, especially with efforts and initiatives of boosting its drive towards meeting up with the UN Decade of Action of reducing road traffic crashes by 50%. Now, issues of concern to the Corps remains mixed loading of truck drivers, overspeeding and driving under the influence of alcohol. Oyeyemi Ajayi brings us the details.
Towards the late 2024, there were crescendo of fuel scooping and siphoning activities from fallen tankers, which caused death of many. This was one major challenge the Federal Road Safety Corps faced headlong to quell, and as time passed, campaigns and awareness became regular in this, educating Nigerians on the need to desist from such activities. Aside these, mixed loading, overspeeding as well as driving against traffic were referred to as major contributors to road traffic crashes in the country. There was as well the crackdown on motorists with fake number plates with the arrest of many. Of major concern to Nigerians is the issue of delayed driver's license issuance, which the Corps swing into action to change.
We have activated plans to overcome perennial challenges associated with delays in obtaining the driver's license and number plates. Our printing facility has been upgraded to print an average of 15,000 driver's licenses daily.
Production from the input of the machine to the output takes less than 20 seconds for a car to be out. So it means we can produce over 1,800 in 1 hour.
It was revealed that, in the period under review, about 30 million passengers traveled using 2.3 million vehicles across the country, with Anambra and Kano states having the highest volume of movements. And some recalcitrant officers were arrested and prosecuted by the Corps after being apprehended for a series of offences, including extorting innocent public. Between 15th December 2024 and 15th January 2025, 432 lives were lost and 2,070 people injured in 533 road crashes. Between January and September 2025, 3,433 deaths and 22,162 injuries were recorded in 6,858 crashes across the country. On the 27th June 2025 in Lusaka, Zambia, the Federal Road Safety Corps was announced the Secretariat of the African Association of the Road Safety Lead Agencies, a feat which earns Nigeria the status of producing the Executive Secretary of the Regional Association. Recalcitrant motorists were arrested and prosecuted through mobile courts. As the 2030 United Nations Decade of Action continues to count down, the Corps says it will not relent in its hours of strengthening and boosting efforts of achieving 50% reduction in road traffic crashes in the country, and won't stop initiating ideas of achieving the goal, while echoing that road safety is everyone's business. Hence, all hands must remain on deck to ensure sanity and safety on the highways. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. And thank you for staying tuned. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed a nationwide decline in reported cases of Lassa fever. According to the latest Lassa fever situation report released by the agency, the number of confirmed cases fell from 28 in epidemiological week 50 to 21 cases by week 52 of 2025. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports that the week 51 update of the NCDC's Lassa fever situation report, covering December 15 to 21, 2025, recorded 5 deaths linked to the viral hemorrhagic disease.
During the period under review, new cases were reported in 7 states of Edo, Bauchi, Kogi, Ebonyi, Plateau, Ondo, and Taraba. Cumulatively, Nigeria recorded 1,119 confirmed Lassa fever cases and 206 deaths as of week 51 in 2025, translating to a case fatality rate of 18.4%. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control noted that a total of 21 states have reported at least one confirmed case across 105 local government areas. 4 states, Ondo, Bauchi, Taraba, and Edo, account for about 88% of all confirmed cases nationwide. The agency also confirmed that no new infections among healthcare workers were recorded during the week. While describing the reduction in cases compared to the same period in 2024 as encouraging, the NCDC cautioned that the persistently high fatality rate highlights the need for sustained surveillance, early case detection, and prompt treatments. The agency urged state governments, health facilities, and members of the public to remain vigilant, adhere to preventive measures, improve hygiene practices, and seek medical care promptly when symptoms arise. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
No fewer than 5 forest guards of the National Park Service office in Oloka, Oyo State, have been allegedly killed by suspected bandits who attacked the park on Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Confirming the incident to NTA News via telephone call, Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Ayolade Olayinka says the State Commissioner of Police, Femi Haruna, alongside other service chiefs, have visited the affected area to assess the situation firsthand. He added that the State Commissioner of Police has also ordered the immediate deployment of tactical teams, officers of the Mobile Police Force, and the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit of the Nigeria Police Force to the area. Assuring members of the public that security agencies are on top of the situation, he promises to give updates on the incident. The Armed Forces of Nigeria Remembrance Day and Emblem Appeal Fund is a collective national promise, ensuring that while heroes of the armed forces may fall, their families are never left to stand alone. But the question is, are promises made for donations kept? And does these annual funds get to the desired end? Well, that's what our defense correspondent, Olajide Bello, seeks to unravel.
As a grateful nation, we must honor the fallen, support the wounded, and care for all who will answer the call to serve.
A call to citizens to wear this emblem as a badge of national pride and direct solidarity by President Bola Tinubu, followed by the launch nationwide by state governors. This is the yearly ritual before the celebration of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day on the 15th of January every year in Nigeria. A designated account number is publicized for individuals and corporate bodies to make donations to the well-being of the veterans and their families. Where then do these proceeds go? The answer paints a picture of care, as the fund primarily exists to support the families of fallen heroes and heroines, the spouses, children and dependent parents left behind. Now, the armed forces of Nigeria are saddled with the responsibility of defending the nation's territorial integrity, toiling day and night to secure Nigerians and ensure we sleep with our two eyes closed. But what is life like after their service year? Let's find out. This made me to chat with Master Warrant Officer Abdullahi Ngaski, retired from the Nigerian Air Force, and Master Warrant Officer Musa Shabanda, who retired from the Nigerian Army. According to them, every scar they had in and out of combat for Nigeria while in active service was a pride and victory. Are they benefiting from the Armed Forces of Nigeria Remembrance Day and Emblem Appeal Fund to put a roof over their heads, medicals and other bills?
They launch an emblem. Maybe Legion has money. What are they doing with the money? But when I came to Legion, I discovered that the story is different. Most of this money, the people pledge. At times, they didn't come to the Legion office. That is one. Two, there are a lot of expectation on the appeal. But thank God, the systems recently, on the health-wise, there are a lot of innovations that comes with the medical care plans in order to include the veterans, capture them in taking part of this health-wise.
Any drug above 1,000, 1,005, they will tell you it's not available. So you have to go and buy outside. If the doctor writes for you some tests, they will tell you this is not covered in the scheme. If you have to undergo some kinds of operation, they will tell you it's not covered by the scheme. The government is trying, but I think they need to expand to cover some of these things, because if you have to use all your youthful age to serve the country, and at the time you need help, you also have to struggle, take care of your medical well-being and that of your family. It's really tough.
The emblem purchased by a citizen becomes a brick in the foundation of their security, as it is a tangible reminder that their loved ones' service is honored not just in speeches but in practical commitment to their well-being.
So we are just pleading with them to help us to launch the emblem, to buy the emblem, to support the veterans and their family.
What other plans does the Nigerian Legion have for veterans to enhance their post-service life?
We are pleading with the federal government and the state governments. They should please allocate lands for the veterans, which we are about launching Renew Hope Veteran Estates, to help them to get a cheaper accommodation after the service.
They commended the federal government for the support received so far, but just like Oliver Twist, are requesting for enhanced post-service life benefits, so it won't be that behind the medal ceremonies and the posthumous honors lies a reality of empty chairs at dinner tables, children growing up with memories instead of a parent's embrace, and spouses becoming solitary pillars of their households. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And on that note, we honor veterans who have laid their lives to pay the supreme price to protect the territorial integrity of our country. And that's the news. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is Josiah Abdullahi.